Welcome to Legendary Leaders, featuring literary trailblazers and trendsetters. Hosted by Michelle Faust and sponsored by Lemonade Legend.
Hello and welcome to Legendary Leaders, where we celebrate authors and their awesomeness. They're here to share their story, to be brave and vulnerable and real and authentic, and to inspire you to be able to get over those obstacles and with lemons and make lemonade. So that's what Lemonade Publishing is all about. And we just put together the Lemonade Stand Book 2. Woo! And we're putting that released now, and we are excited. We're celebrating, and I have 3 authors from that book. And today we have Tina Krebs and Wendy Labatt and Nicole Harvick. Welcome. So excited to have you.
Yeah, we're excited to be here. We've been waiting for this.
So is this a better part than the actual writing of the story?
A little less stressful. Less stress, definitely.
Yeah. That's what I hear. Tell me, I'd like to hear from each of you just a little bit about the process of actually putting the story on paper. You know, you have it in your head, in your heart. What was it like to put it on paper?
It was interesting because to put something from mind to mouth to on paper, it's just a whole different way to do things. And I had to think a lot before I used my words on paper. So it took me a lot longer than I thought it did. And I knew I had a very rough copy of what I was doing. So when I sent it to our proofreader, it came back with a lot of suggestions, which was so helpful though. It was so helpful because I didn't know I had that in me until she brought it out of me. Yeah. So it was daunting, but it was fun.
Yeah. I do hear that. The power of putting it on paper is really something else, isn't it? What about you, Wendy?
It was a good experience. You know, I had written my own book right before this, so I kind of had an idea. And but I dreaded with writing my book, so I didn't carry the dread over to this chapter, so that made it a little more comfortable to write, but still, like I said, just putting the right perspective in there, you know, to make sure you emphasize the right point, because I didn't want to do a pity party sob story, you know, I wanted to show the progression of what my lemon turning into lemonade was, so it was good. I'm excited. I'm just glad to be a part of it.
We are glad that you are a part of it. Tina, what about you?
It was an experience. It was a lot harder than I had anticipated. I knew it was going to be hard, but I did not know how hard it was. And, you know, by trade, I'm a photographer. I don't write. I play with pictures and not words. So that was almost impossible, but I found the way to get around that was I dictated it to my phone and sent it to the editor, and like you, I think she broke her pen. Put the fancy red pen on mine, but you know, it worked out in the end, and it's the most beautiful thing I've ever done.
How did it feel now?
I'll let you know when I figure that out, because it's kind of like,
still
whoa.
processing.
Yes.
Yeah. You're still in that, you know, the book is released, but we haven't really had time to.
Yeah, it hasn't sank in. Like,
Yeah.
is this really happening?
It is.
But you know, you all, because we reached bestseller status, that you all are best-selling authors. Yay! Yes, absolutely. And Wendy, you know, I'm very familiar with your story. You participated in a couple of Lemonade Legend magazine articles. Obviously, your chapter was a little bit more expanded. But what I loved about how you wrote your story is, as you say, you didn't want the sob story. We've had breast cancer stories in book 1, but yours really focused not so much on that, but on how you made lemonade by being financially secure in being able, because this is the thing most people don't think about. Oh, I've got insurance. It'll cover cancer, whatever. No.
That's right.
And you learned firsthand that having specific cancer insurance and being fully covered when a calamity like that happened, it makes all the difference in the world.
It does. It does. And one thing when writing the chapter, even though I tell my story when I do different presentations, you know, I always talked about the cost of my infusions of $67,000 every 3 weeks for a year. But then, you know, Corinne said, you know, calculate it out. And I calculated it out as over 1.1 million. And I'm still shocked by that. It's like, God, I didn't really realize it was that. I mean, 67,000 every 3 weeks was shocking enough. But when you look at that total and just think of how that could have really ruined me financially. And I just thank the Lord that I had the proper protection.
And there are other things too to consider when you're going through not only cancer, but many medical situations. Time lost from work, you know, you might have to travel to another state, specialty hospital. There's maybe you have to hire a house cleaner because, you know, you're just not up to it. So there's a lot of things to think about, you know, and not just the illness and, oh, the insurance will take care of everything. So that essentially is the financial cure.
That's right.
As Dr. Wendy Labat, you are the financial healer.
Yes.
And prepare people for situations like that.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a great thing to put into your story, that you know, with that focus. So it's like, be prepared. Think about it. Yes, it can happen to you. You know, it doesn't happen to everybody else. It could happen to you.
And when I had the proper protection, it was because I was in the business. It wasn't that I was doing it for, you know, personal financial planning. It was because it was a business and marketing, you know, strategy. And my clients would ask me, well, what do you have? You know, where's your money? And I could honestly say it. So when I got the diagnosis, I found that, thank God, I practiced what I preached, because otherwise, I don't know if I would have had that level of coverage. You know, I would have had the health insurance, but all the other supplemental things, I don't know if I would have had them just looking at my own personal financial planning type strategy. So,
yeah.
You know.
Well, we're glad that you're not only cured of the breast cancer, but you are financially healthy as well. So, we never reveal all the stories because we want people to obviously buy the book, but to give you little bits and pieces, you were all about forgiveness.
Yes.
Here's the thing that struck me in the beginning when we first started talking, is I believe in the importance of forgiveness, but when you talk about that, most people immediately go to that place of forgiving the person who wronged me, forgiving so-and-so. And you right away talked about how important it was to forgive yourself.
Yes, absolutely. And I didn't know that when I first started on my journey of forgiveness. And it was when I realized that you have to forgive yourself for things you didn't know at the time. You know, you're in a place where you're making decisions, but you don't know any different. You can always look back and see what you did wrong, but you can't change it. So I did realize early on that forgiving myself was part of that journey. And what I found through forgiving myself was that I actually found a deep love for myself. And I had never even thought about self-love before. I didn't really know that was a thing. And through learning to love yourself unconditionally, you can look at other people that have wronged you, and you can love, you don't love what they did, you don't forget what they did because it's a lesson, but you move forward with love for them, and maybe on a soul level, because everyone deserves love. So you can give it a little bit differently than just a romantic love, or, you know, and for me, it was my ex-husband, and I have forgiven him for the things he's done. I move on with love because he gave me 2 beautiful daughters, and it's not one of those things I want to carry with me, because anything you carry inside is going to manifest on the outside, and I want to be clean on the inside so I can move forward. Where I took the baggage out there, now I can fill it with love or with respect or anything. You know, if you've got that empty space there, you refill it with something very positive.
And you physically cannot have 2 opposing thoughts in your head at the same time.
Right.
And that, I think, is a lot of what you're talking about. So if you're hanging on to the negative, then you can't have the positive. You know, if you fill yourself with love and forgiveness, then you can't have the negative.
Right.
So it's really a choice of where you want your perspective to be, and how you want to think and approach it. And that's so healthy.
I'm trying. I still have triggers every once in a while, but then you know that when you have a trigger, that's something you need to heal inside of yourself.
Yeah.
So you have to go find it, and then you work on it, and then you release it and transmute it and refill it. And
But you know, it's a never-ending process.
never ending, right?
Yeah. You know, I was talking on an earlier show, we were discussing depression. Well, you can get yourself in the right place. You can, whether that's medication or whatever gets you in that right place. But it's almost like a daily battle. You know, it's almost like, you know, being an alcoholic where you're continually in the recovery process. So I can imagine that, yes, you have triggers. Yes, you have to, what did I learn about that?
Oh,
how do
yes.
I get back to that place and live my life in beauty and love and peace? And you do. Every time I see you,
Thank you.
You're like a beacon of light.
Oh, that's nice. Thank you so much.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Appreciate that.
And you were featured on recently on 50 Women Over 50.
I was. It was a really
I'm
fun.
sorry to reveal Ray,
No,
but-
that's okay. I mean, it is what it is. And that was, I went and met with a gal up here in Scottsdale, and she wanted to showcase women over 50. And so I met with her, kind of told her my story, and I said, one of the things I really want to do is a lot of women my age, because I'm 61, a lot of women my age going through a divorce after 25 years of marriage, you're scared, and sometimes you don't have a lot of confidence. And your success is right over that line of fear. You know, and I want anybody to know that if I did it, they can also. That was really important to me.
That's beautiful. Your success is just over the line of fear. I love that. I'm going to remember that and use that. That's pretty incredible. So, Tina, you have a roller coaster in a couple of marriages there. So, not something that a lot of people don't experience. So you know what? You're not alone, and you're sharing your story. Tells people they're not alone. So, what are some of the most important things that you learned about yourself and the strength that you have by being in an abusive relationship?
Wow. I think sitting here now, I can tell you that I was completely wrong about everything in my life. I didn't know myself at all. I was given the wrong information and learned the wrong things. And then through this journey, it's been, you know, a transformation, to say the least. It's every aspect of my life is completely different than just what it was a year ago. And I still can't believe it. I mean, like every day.
Yeah. What I got from your story was that you found your strength. You found you.
Yes. And in the most unlikeliest of ways and darkest of times, I found who I was. And, you know, when the chips are down, you find out who's still with you. And, you know, that there was one person that I hadn't seen, and that was me. So I found myself. I found, you know, fell in love with myself, you know, inside and out. And it's just been amazing. It's so much fun.
Your eyes light up.
Mhm.
Say that.
Yeah, that's a powerful statement.
Yes.
You found you. That's powerful.
Well, I think it is, and I think when we reach that point where we've been able to make the lemonade, you know, it's just something that comes from the soul, you know, and just you shine, you know, your eyes light up,
Yes.
you smile more, you know, you have an energy and a lift because you've been able to make it over the hump. So I applaud you all for that.
Thank you.
talk about some of the individual things that maybe you went through to get you over that hump. When you were right there where you knew you had to get to the other side.
For me, a big motivating factor is I had 2 daughters watching. And I didn't, even though we have to take our own path and we have to make mistakes to learn, I didn't want them to see me with someone, it's their dad, so I had to be, it was a real thin line there of what I could say or what I could not say, but I knew that I had to be an example for those girls. Mm-hmm. And I knew that, they had to see my strength, but I also wanted them to see my weaknesses, that it did hurt. And so those were my driving forces to get me to step over that line of fear, is I want them to be women that aren't afraid of branching out, doing something different, forging a new path where you thought your old path was perfect and you have to take a hard right. So them watching me was my catalyst to do more for myself.
Kids are amazing at motivating us to do things we wouldn't do otherwise. And I know you've got kids. All of you had kids. Yeah. But you, when going through your divorce, your kids were fairly young.
Yes. My daughter will turn 15 in April, and my son will be 11 next week. So, and I've already been through 2 divorces. So, it's that fine line, even, what do you tell them? Right. What do you not tell them? Because you want them to see, your vulnerability and, but yet you want them to know that it's going to be okay. Mm. So, but, through all that I've been through, especially with my daughter, I can now say that she has recovered. Oh, good. And is doing completely amazing. Both of them are, but my daughter, had a little bit of issues for a little bit, and but now she's captain of her cheerleading squad and straight A's, honor roll. Right. So that's wonderful. Definitely been a year for all of us.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Let's talk a little bit, Wendy, about the success in your business. Because I know you're successful. And you know what? The other thing is you work hard at it. I mean, I see you everywhere.
Just doing what I'm led to, called to do.
But the exposure that you seek out, I think is very impressive. And it's something where some entrepreneurs fall a little short. Mm-hmm. Because it can be exhausting. Yeah, was that an understatement?
Yeah. But I find, I'm old school. I've been in business 37 years, and back in the day, there was no internet and social media. So, and the only thing you do with the cell phone is make an expensive phone call. So it wasn't, you had to physically go and show up. You had to physically network. You had to physically develop relationships. Now, you can develop relationships with people virtually and not even have met them in person. So it's a different thing, but still the principle is the same. You got to get out there. People have to know who you are and what you do and how to get in touch with you to do business with you, or even to see if you're, can help them. So that's what it's all about now is, and then I got a dynamic PR person, so I got to give her some credit, Angel Tussey, so I'm going to call her out because, a lot of it, I got in a comfort zone. And after, going through all the chemo, my body was battered, my mind had the chemo brain. So I had to really do some physical strengthening, and mental strengthening. And then when I got out there, it's like, okay, I can do this. But, virtually it is a little more exhausting that I was surprised at than it was doing it physically. But you do have to get out. Like my mentor told me years ago, you got to let people, when you network, you got to let people know who you are, what you do, and how to get in touch with you. So I'm basically doing that now in this virtual world. So you do have to get out there.
Yeah, and you do it well.
Oh, well, thank you.
You do it very
Appreciate
it. But yeah, I do believe that many entrepreneurs kind of stop short of that. They spend all their time being very, very busy in wherever their office is, on the computer, but they forget that they have to get out and let people know who you are, how to
What
get in
you
touch
do
with
and
you,
how to
why
get
you
in
do
touch
what you
with
do.
you.
And your story, mentioning why, your story of why you do what you do really comes from your story of your life, or your childhood, or your event that is your story. So I know, Tina, you totally rediscovered yourself from a career standpoint.
Yes, since I was a teenager, I was in EMS, and growing up with a firefighter dad and brother, you just kind of assume your roles. And then my mom fell in suit afterwards, and it was great. She got to be my partner, and then I went into nursing and worked in the ER and dialysis. And then all of a sudden, one accident came and ended it all. And that was devastating because I didn't know anything else. I know how to help people and take care of them. But now what do I do? I don't know. And that disaster turned into the biggest blessing in disguise. Because I found photography the same time it found me, and potentially it really saved my life.
You do a beautiful job.
Yes, you
And,
do. You
quite
do.
a few of your photographs, and you work in all kinds of different components: metal, wood, where you impose the pictures. You do some great Photoshop, not so much to change up, but maybe restore an old picture and that type of thing, or just make it a little bit more beautiful with the background. That's really your specialty, is really taking a photo and just making it something incredible.
Yes.
So yes, you do wonderful work.
Thank you.
You do. I have to laugh every time I look at you.
Why? Why?
Because I remember.
Explain to me.
I remember beginning, and I'm like, how did you land in that awful job?
But it made us grateful for what we have now. And that's, you look back and you're like, okay, I had to do that to know that was something I didn't want to do.
Right.
And just the brevity that I have now of being out of that. The minute I took that leap, I was like, I don't know exactly what I'm doing or how I'm pulling it together, but I am never going back to that. Then we started talking. She's like, I am never going back to that. We are never going back to that. I know.
No, and that is insurance sales. It's great. It's
For
great.
someone,
Selling insurance.
yeah.
We were selling one very narrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't a great product.
Right.
But I won't mention their name.
I will later if you want to know. Well, you know to never. I will.
But it's also, you have to find the job that's right for you. And for me, it was extremely difficult to cold call.
Yeah.
First of all, I have a hearing loss, so sometimes, that alone. But it's that, no thank you, bam,
Oh,
on the phone.
I know. And I've never worked a commission job that expected so much. 50 to 60 hours a week on a commission-driven job.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, that's, I never get that time back.
Right.
And it's not, the money's not as important as my time. And that's when I'm like, okay, this isn't going to work.
Yeah. So, but it's something we share.
Yes, we do.
Share. Is that experience and the people who are all a part of it. And
We would have never been smiling like this there, ever, ever.
no. Because you're right. Because I was not willing to pour into, what they were expecting.
Right.
Of us, and take so completely away from my life. And you have to follow your heart.
Right.
And you are following your very true heart.
I'm doing my best. I really am. I've got a ways to go, but I'm getting there. Like I said, that puzzle's coming together. So I'm so close. So close.
You are. And look at that.
Thank you.
I think going through the process of writing it all out and sharing that and living it over and over in your head as the story was coming out, probably propelled you a little bit.
Yes.
Gives you some motivation.
And you know, sometimes you just turn it over to the higher power of God. And it's like, when it's my time, that perfect thing will be right in my lap, just like everything else.
That's the way Lemonade Legend happened.
Yep.
You know, I thought book number 1 of the Lemonade Stand was a one and done, but boy,
Here we
it
are.
wasn't even close to a one and done.
The first of many.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, but it gives me joy because I do see what the power of sharing the story does for people. And the inspiration.
It's empowering.
Self-healing.
Yes.
It's all pretty amazing. So, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Oh, 5 years. I see a huge company worldwide and someone buys me out and I lay on a beach in Hawaii where it all started. Because I'm old, I got to relax some point.
I
I've been
know.
working since I was like 11.
Yeah, exactly.
Babysitting, you know.
Yeah.
It's like I love what I'm doing, but am I going to have the energy to do it like when I'm in my
Right.
70s? I don't know. So, yeah, but that idea that somebody will come and hand you that check for, you know, a few $1 million.
Yeah, that would work.
Yeah,
you
that would
know.
work, yeah.
Could lay on a beach somewhere,
Yeah,
got a
I'd
couple
find
hours
way
a day.
Yeah, to retire and be happy with it.
Yes.
What about you, Wendy? Are you the type that's going to go forever, or are you you have your goal to?
Well, as an entrepreneur, you never retire, and I
Right.
found that out. Because, you know, after the cancer, you know, I felt, okay, I'm healthy, I'm wealthy, I'm happy, so, you know, I'm cool here, and this is my comfort zone. But now, I just realized that I just have to go where the spirit leads me. So I'm not putting a time limit or, you know, even projecting where I'm going to be. I'm just going to follow the spirit and follow that path, and wherever it leads me, and then when it tells me to stop, then I'll stop and be still. So that's my strategy.
I think it's a good one, because I honestly believe, especially since basically what happened to me is that, you know, you find yourself, just like you said, photography found you, more than you found the photography, that when the right thing will come together. I think people struggle too much. What am I going to do when I grow up? What should I major in college? You know, I think it's something like 90% of the people who graduate from college do not follow their
don't do it. They got the degree.
Anyway.
Yeah, I'm a testimony to that.
Exactly. Where are you going to be in 5 years, Tana?
I'm not sure where I'm going to be 5 hours from now, but I can promise you it is going to be one hell of an adventure. It is going to be so much fun.
Perfect.
And you know what? I have no doubt. No doubt. In fact, you've exhibited it since you've been here. You're from Pittsburgh. We're here in Arizona right now enjoying beautiful weather. And
Sorry, Pittsburgh. Mom, send the kids. Don't need my stuff up again.
But I was very impressed. Of course, we got together the first night when you got in, but I've been busy with my work getting things, you know, ready for the launch, and you know, so I was like, oh my God, I have to babysit, you know, and no, you were just like, I'm good.
Where are you? I don't know. See you in a little while.
That's pretty.
There's trees and mountains.
I just kept, you know, I'd look at Facebook every once in a while, and there you post on all the pictures and where you were and what you were doing, and I don't know if I'm that. I don't want to say it's brave. I don't know if I'm that comfortable to just jump out there and see what I found. But you had no problem with that.
You know, the way I look at it now is you can't do anything worse than what's already happened to me, and I've already survived that. So let's go. It's only life. So yeah, it's just. I mean, I've got, like you said, I've gone from Pittsburgh and never being past Ohio to Arizona, where I knew nobody.
And here we all are.
I know, and it's so awesome.
It's so fun.
What's been your favorite part of, well, I know this is your favorite part, but other than that, what's been your favorite part of Arizona so far, of what you've been able to see?
The warmth.
Yeah.
I love the whole, like everything. It's sunny, it's warm. In Pittsburgh, it's like 7 and a lot of snow. So, you know, Arizona has that, but it's just there's so much to do, and the people are just so amazing. I don't want to go home.
We have good energy here. I love it.
Yes.
I'll invite you back in July and see what you say then.
You just stay inside in the air conditioning.
Absolutely.
Myself with the blue ice packs. We'll be all right.
And you're off to Hawaii in a
I
few
am.
days.
I am. I'm off to Hawaii to get my daughter situated in college, and that's where my Ho'oponopono journey began on the Big Island of Hawaii. In 2014, I was asked to feed the stray by my guides, and I did, and came home and was introduced to Ho'oponopono, and that's what started it.
We're going to hope that I say this correctly. Would you like to tell the audience what Ho'oponopono means?
Ho'oponopono is an ancient Hawaiian forgiveness practice. It consists of 4 phrases: I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, and thank you. And that releases, the Hawaiians call it the black baggage. And if you've ever been to the islands, you know how they're lovely people. And that's because they have no animosity, no anger. They flow with the island. They rise up when the island does. And it's a beautiful culture.
Yeah.
Beautiful culture.
Yeah. Well, it flows from you very well.
Thank you.
And then it's flowing from me now that
Yes,
I have my
good.
own special
That's right.
bracelet.
That's right. Blessed with love, with Reiki, and
Yeah.
with oils.
Yeah, isn't that incredible? So I'm so thankful for all 3 of you.
Thank you.
I really am. Thankful that you shared your stories in my book, that you trusted me with your stories. You're dynamic. You are all successful or on the road to being successful. You want to worry for people to get a hold of you that you can share with us?
You can find me on Facebook, Nicole Harvick. You can find me on Instagram, Nicole S. Harvick, www.ofmanyworlds, and nsharvick@cox.net.
Okay.
Very accessible.
Yes, okay. Well, we'll put it up on the screen
Okay.
as well, but yeah. How about you, Wendy?
I have my Facebook group, The Financial Cures. We provide, information and inspiration. Dr. Wendy Labat on Facebook, Wendy Labat on Facebook. Instagram, it's dr.wendy.labat, and LinkedIn, Dr. Wendy Labat.
Yeah. And your book is The Financial Cures.
Well, that's the series. The first book is Diagnose Your Financial Health, and it's
Okay.
out on Amazon.
Okay, great, awesome. Tina?
Well, you can find me on Facebook for Tina Krebs, or my business page is Unique Photo Innovations. We're also on WhatsApp and Instagram, so just keep growing from there.
All right, that sounds incredible. Again, thank you.
Thank you, Michelle.
We'll probably never be able to thank you enough for, again, it's just such an honor to help you share your story. So it's a beautiful thing. So, folks, go out there and get the book, The Lemonade Stand Book 2. It is full of incredible stories. These are just 3 out of the 15 authors. So you can just imagine what you're going to get out of the entire book. So go to Amazon, look up The Lemonade Stand Book 2, and you're good to go. Thanks again.
Thank you.
And thank you, audience. And I wish everybody a beautiful day and a beautiful life. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.